Right now, somewhere between a headline about oil prices and a breaking alert about the Middle East, you made a decision you did not even know you were making. You let fear decide for you. That is not analysis. That is not strategy. That is surrender. The news cycle is engineered to do exactly one thing: keep you reacting. And the moment you react, you stop being a player in your own life and become a piece someone else moves. Today, we break that pattern. We go back to two men who understood power at its most brutal. Marcus Aurelius, who governed an empire while war raged on every border, and Machiavelli, who watched princes fall because they could not separate the signal from the noise. Their combined answer to a world in chaos is not calm in the soft sense. It is cold clarity, strategic stillness, the kind that turns disorder into leverage. That is what we are building today. Marcus Aurelius wrote in his private journal the Meditations not for an audience, for himself. In the middle of the Antonine Plague, the Marcomannic Wars, economic strain across the empire, he wrote, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this and you will find strength." Read that again slowly. Not events, not markets, not oil prices, not geopolitical flashpoints. Your mind. That is the only domain you actually govern. Every other domain you influence at best. And if you have not governed the first domain, you have no business trying to operate in the second. This is not philosophy for a monastery. This is the operational reality of every person who has ever held power under pressure. They govern themselves first. So here is the first hard question. When tensions spike and markets move and your feed explodes with breaking news, what is the first thing you do? Most people pick up their phone. They refresh. They read 3 contradictory takes and end up more confused, more anxious, and less capable of clear thought than they were 5 minutes ago. That is not information gathering. That is anxiety feeding. And the algorithm is designed to reward the content that keeps you doing it. Stop. Physically stop. Before you do anything else, you govern your own reaction. That is step 1, and it is non-negotiable. Now shift to the outer world, because Machiavelli has something to say to you that your financial advisor never will. In The Prince, Machiavelli wrote that fortune is like a violent river. When it rages, it floods everything. It moves the earth, it uproots trees, it destroys buildings. But in calm times, men can make provisions and build dikes and banks so that when the flood rises, it runs into channels and the force is not so wild. The flood is not the enemy. Your lack of preparation is. The world right now, the Middle East tensions, the oil volatility, the dollar pressure, the gold moves, none of that is abnormal. That is what the world always does. Power competes, resources are contested, alliances shift. This is not a crisis. This is geopolitics doing what geopolitics has always done since the first kingdom drew a border. The real question Machiavelli is asking you is this: did you build the dike before the flood? Did you design your life, your finances, your habits, your mental posture in a way that can absorb a shock? Or did you assume the water would stay calm forever? Most people, and this is the hard truth, build their entire life on the assumption of stability. Their income, their spending, their psychological equilibrium, all of it depends on nothing unexpected happening. So when the unexpected happens, which it always does, they are not just financially vulnerable, they are emotionally shattered. They become pawns, not because the world was cruel to them, but because they never prepared to govern themselves inside a world that moves. Here is what you actually do. 3 moves, concrete. Start now. Move 1. Separate the signal from the noise. When geopolitics spike, the volume of commentary explodes by a factor of 10 while the actual useful information barely changes. 90% of what you are reading is reaction to reaction. Someone's take on someone else's take. That is not signal. Signal is what is actually moving, why is it moving, and what historical parallel does it most resemble? Read primary sources, read the actual statements from governments and central banks. Read Machiavelli himself, because the power dynamics he described in 15th century Florence are structurally identical to what you see playing out today. Pattern recognition is a skill. Noise consumption is a habit. Choose deliberately. Move 2. Audit your exposure to the uncontrollable. Machiavelli's Dike is not a metaphor. It is a structural reality. What in your life is dangerously dependent on external stability? Income from a single source, savings entirely in one asset class, a business model that cannot survive a 6-month disruption, psychological stability that collapses when markets move 5%. These are real vulnerabilities, and naming them is not pessimism, it is the strategist's first task. Sun Tzu said, "Know the terrain before you move." You cannot build on terrain you refuse to look at. The sovereign does not flinch from the map. He reads it clearly, marks the danger zones, and makes provisions. This week, one specific action. Write down the 3 things in your life most exposed to external volatility and identify one concrete step you can take to reduce that exposure. 1. Not 10. 1. Done this week. Move 3. Position. Do not just protect. This is where most people stop short. They hear discipline and they think purely defensive. Reduce, cut, hunker down. But Machiavelli was never purely defensive. He studied how power shifts in periods of disorder, and what he found consistently was this: the people who emerge stronger from turbulent periods are not the ones who simply survived. They are the ones who read the shift accurately and moved while others were still frozen by fear. Right now, oil volatility is real. Gold is moving as a safe haven play. Institutional money is making decisions. You do not need to play in those specific arenas. But the underlying principle applies everywhere. When the board is reshuffled, the player who sees it clearly gains positions others abandon in panic. What is being undervalued around you because of fear? Where are people fleeing that creates a gap you can step into? Not recklessly, not with borrowed leverage, with clear eyes and a governed mind. That is the move. Now let this settle. Marcus Aurelius ruled for nearly 20 years. He faced war on multiple fronts, plague that killed millions, economic instability, betrayal inside his own court. He did not have a stable world to work with. He had a disciplined mind, a clear set of principles, and the strategic patience to outlast disorder. That combination, inner governance and outer positioning, is the entire engine, not one or the other. Both. You are living in a period that will separate people, not based on luck, not based on which direction oil moves, based on who governed themselves well enough to think clearly, act deliberately, and hold their position while everyone around them scattered. That is the game, and now you see it. The pawn reacts. The sovereign reads, governs, and moves. If this is the frame you want to keep building, subscribe to STOLVEX. The newsletter link is in the description. One principle, one strategic move every week. No noise, only signal. Rise.